Hey guys, Sunstreaker Wozza here. Welcome back to another video of my good friend Tex, and this time we are doing top combats in the game for 2023. So thank you again for joining me, Tex.
Yeah, nah, good to be back as always, mate. We have a lot of fun doing these things.
Yeah, it's very informative for players. Look at different play styles, different way of using things, hopefully, and hopefully you can go away from this thinking you can invest in X combat or go and chase a certain combat because you know it will make you a better player in the game for whatever reason, whether it's leveling, whether it's wars, whatever it is. So me and Tex sort of come to an agreement on these are the top 15 bots in the game. And in 15th place we have Bashbreaker, aka Gabu. So, Bashbreaker, I get he's got good value for rushing in with that acid, stop the healing. Is that how you use him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so attached to pipes, I'm trying to bring the most acid I can to battle. Like, it's no lie, we know what it does. Not only am I putting it on a bot that cannot be hacked, has an acid rush itself, sort of like a big acid pool that constantly spewing up, helping out my warrior. Overall, for me, it does the job so well. Yeah, I think Bashbreaker helps me out there with just doing what I need to be done.
Yeah, I see value in him. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I look at this combat and thinking, yeah, not in a million years. And I did try it, but I don't really rush into that cluster. So for me, the acid, there's not much healing really outside of that
Mm.
cluster at the minute. Everyone sort of focuses that healing on that cluster, and because I'm not rushing that sort of warrior bot pipes, aka headstrong, into that cluster, then that's why I don't really see much value in it. Like you said, it's 30% DPS added onto a warrior bot usually. But yeah, if you're rushing into that cluster to stop that healing, then yeah, massive advantage from running Bashbreaker or Gabu on your warriors. And in 14th place, we have SG Steeljaw, aka SG Ravage. I think you were singing its praises when it came out as a combat and saying how good it was, like a tracks cloud for free. And I was sort of sold on that, really.
Look, I think anytime you can get, as we say, for free, free tracks cloud, free hologram, all that sort of stuff. I think if you use it correctly, it's so good because it's free, right? Now, obviously, the detractors have been the FFDs, cancelled tracks, so it's going to cancel Steeljaw. Again, you still have your DPS. It's little rockets shooting out. I think it's a great animation kind of thing. But because it's free, you're not wasting points. So as soon as the FFD core does get removed out of play, back to having your free smoke. So yeah, like I see the value. Not a top priority in terms of companion bots that I'm sort of running. I'm my side. I see the value, just not for me for A team stuff.
Is this because of the increase in FFDs, or is it another reason?
No, I think it's just the increase in FFDs. I can't fit everyone on the team, right? Like I'm sort of limited in who I want to bring because I value other star levels over complete other combats, and that's just a notion to how good some of these combats are.
And in 13th place, we have Traxodon Stroke Pterodactyl. I still see great value in the likes of using it on Blaster. Bots that do decent amount of damage, really. We talked about a previous video about why would not have it on pipes for the high HP. So when you've got them sort of special bots, we know that they sort of fell away from the meta a bit, not as much as warriors. So I kind of understand why Tarax would fall down the list in a bit. But obviously we talk about them anti-healing cores, so any sort of healing you can get into your team that's around combats, then I think that'd be a massive, plus on that side.
Yeah, I mean it was the whole blaster thing, right? It was about the extra healing, and again, I used to see people put it on Optimus Prime, and I'm like, yeah, these are just bots. I never fancied, never used, and so because that combat was more suited to those type of bots is why I kind of went away from that. Putting it on Slash, I thought was pretty good because while you're invisible, had you taken any damage, you're healing. A lot of our tanks these days are now warriors, so it's almost like a phased out combat. If I'm to be honest, because it's like the bots that your favorite blaster, unfortunately, right now, is kind of starting to get phased out. So it's like the combination of what you had on these bots is also fading out, right? So that's just a game for me, and like I said, that's why it was never on my radar to begin with. But yeah, for people like yourself that may have used it in the past, and yeah, I just unfortunately see this one on the cycle out of metas.
And then in 12th place, so a bit of a surprise. So unless stated, we're going to classify these as we're taking the 5-star version. That's what we're going to be picking. But we've actually got Big Daddy, aka Groundhog, as a 4-star in 12th place. So this is how high they between us we sort of rate this bot. I see great value in this bot. Unbelievable. The amount of range and damage just against outpost bots combined. I think that is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's like when we did our rating videos for bots and stuff like that, and what makes a good all round bot was, does it play defense? Does it play attack? Does it play both? Big Daddy as this combat for me, it playing both defense and attack, right? Like, so from the attacking point of view, Big Daddy's going to hang back due to its range. So it's not going to wander up, get killed, right? So basically, if you're deploying on the pad and you've got a pretty clean sort of area that you've made to path well, Big Daddy's just going to stay there, especially if there's you've popped the outpost a bit further away. It is like ridiculous range. Like, I love it because it's unique, right? What's so the factor behind this combat. But then on the defense side of things, man, that you need to. It's like the smokescreen of combat in terms of super range, just hammering you on your bots. You know what I mean? It's just, I think it's fantastic. So, I would run both the 4 and 5 on defense, right? So that's why I rated the 4-star so highly.
Yeah, I really like this guy on release. That was a very good job by the playtesters and by Space Ape, and probably the last big release that I was really impressed with combat wise. So yeah, very good addition. And next up in 11th place we have Trip Up Stroke Roller Force. So obviously this was more my choice, a staple in my team. As we said previously, I like to slow walk, take it slow through the bases, and this guy just adds that extra DPS that I need. Running 2 or 3 tanks, running 2 healers. You not a fan though?
My 4-star is sitting at max, right? And my 5-star is sitting at level 1. This is all due to the fiasco about, is it working? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not really getting much out of it. Everyone thought out the box, this is exactly what everyone should have on their team. And I kind of agree to a certain degree, And then, because not only is the speed up, you kind of got another companion doing your general DPS, which is fantastic. But then the question started to get asked: is the speed up working? And we never knew for quite a while actually. And then how many bug fixes went out? I kind of lost count. I have to look at my album, but the moment something for me becomes uncertain, I do not trust it. I got to have a high trust factor in what I'm throwing out there, and I lost that. And as I said, this is after me maxing out the 4-star version, and for me, he got replaced by Zor. So Trip Up was on my healer on Minerva, and he lost his spot to Zor, who I can rely on. I know what I'm getting, and so forth. So even though I pulled the 5-star Trip Up, remains on 1, just because I'm set in my ways a little bit from a reliability factor. Even though the people who do love Trip Up even more than I did, I've said, look, it's back to working. I think we had Giannis really pull out the data, show we amplified the percentages a little bit more, and yeah, look, it's working. So look, it's not about not being broken anymore. It's more I moved away.
And in 10th place we have Zor Stroke Slugfest. So I think Zor was in both our teams. In my war team, as you just said, in your war team. Very, very good bot. Getting that sort of mini jazz orbital
Yeah.
strike for zero cost. Obviously not the same as sort of jazz in terms of,
No.
amount of damage done, but just finishes defenses off nice. That are sort of hanging around. And yeah, a very good addition to any team, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the comparisons are to obviously to Jazz. Like it's 400% of Zor's DPS, so three, so about 1200. So it's like you're getting a free orbital strike every 10 seconds. Like you really can't be unhappy with that, and I think everyone loves it. And people are running multiple versions of this, which is great. I think anytime someone contemplates running both a 4 and 5 star version, or look, even down to 3 star version of some combats, it's a shout out to how good that combat really is.
And going on to that, in ninth place, Nightstick stroke Fracas as a 3-star, which is absolute madness that we've got a three
Yeah.
star in the top 15 combats in the
People
game.
might have thought it was a bit weird seeing Nightstick. We sort of gloat about it, and then all of a sudden it's in ninth, and it's like, what? But the 3 star, that's the kicker.
Yeah, crazy. And would you say it's more down to the acid, more down to the healing, more down to the damage, or is it just because it's all three?
Well, I mean, throw in the extra range, right? Like, so for
True.
for me, 3 star Nightstick took a max 5 star top shots place. So we're talking the DPS, the anti healing, and the extra range. Seriously, this combat is just so good. It's seriously put up, you know, three Nightsticks on your team, man. It's so good.
I mean, I run the 5 and 4 star. I
Mm.
do run those two bots. Don't run the 3 star. I think that's a bit too far myself, but I do understand why it would be in that list though still, even the 3 star, because obviously, as we know, as we can guess already, the 5 and 4 star would be a lot higher up the leaderboard. If the 3 star is in ninth.
It's also cheap, being a 3 star combat
Yeah,
to
I've
mark it up.
no qualms with being in there though. That's the point I'm
Mm.
making. That even though I don't run it, yeah, I can see such value in it to be in there. And I know people will look at this going like, that's absolutely madness that you're putting a 3 star Nightstick above a
Trust me.
5 star Trax. And yeah, yeah, I probably would. If you had to give me a choice between the two,
The ability to have a 3 star combat that's easy to have, you most likely have cheap to max out, and someone's using it at the Prime League hard mode level, it's just a no brainer. It's great for everyone.
hmm. And in eighth place, we have Shieldron stroke Fangatron. We talked about this off stream, and I was saying I see such value in using that hollow to pop an outpost at the start. But you made a good point that that's okay, well and good at the start, brilliant free pop, but then during the battle, then kind of unpredictable. Does make Rook or wherever you put it on hang back. So I kind of see the plus and the minus of it.
Yeah, look, as I said, it's again a part of the free package, the free hologram, because it's on a hologram bot that costs points, and we're getting a free one. We consider it free, but we don't know where it's going to cast. So outside that first one, as I said, yeah, that's cool, man. 3 4 seconds after deployment, somewhere in front of your character, it's going to pop out, right? So in case you hit a MSM, potentially, it's good little coverage. But yeah, after that, moving forward, you just don't know where that's going to pop up. And the unpredictable factor for me, if you're trying to, whether it's pathing by walking, by rushing, whatever, um, everyone everyone's walking speed is so different. You don't want to sort of make splits. You don't want to pop stuff that you don't want to be prepared for. I just don't like that sort of behavior from my combats.
Yeah, obviously the protection it gives as well for your bot. The shielding is immense as well. But I do understand that sort of unpredictability of it can cause problems. But I think a lot of combats you can look at, not all of them, but some you can look at the pluses, you can look at the minuses, and it's either way you can look at them for
Do you know
what
what
their
this
value
reminds me of?
is. What's
Does
that?
this not remind you of the G1 Hound Core?
In a way, but
Because we want, because
yes,
we're getting that 19 point something
but I
percent.
think with Hound, you didn't want them to pop an outpost ever. Whereas I put it on
Yeah,
Rook, for example, who's there to pop outposts. So, yes, similar. I understand what it's similar, you can see that. But it depends on the bot's usage. Like when I use Hound normally, if I'm doing Zen farming, I don't want to pop outposts. I'm avoiding outposts.
yeah,
And it's
for sure.
annoying that it has popped it. And like I said, I can see what you mean about during the battle, it can be frustrating. But for that, to cut that 5 points out right at the start of the battle. So, for example, we talked off air as well about how Rook can get quite expensive, multiple uses. So, if I'm getting one free pop at the start and I can use Rook again for another outpost, I look at that as me saving 7 ability points for second use. So, if
For
that can
sure.
cut my points down, then I'll take that sort of variable
Gamble.
yeah, of the next part
Yeah,
of it, if it saved me that 7 points just later on. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
That is part one done with, guys. So, again, big thanks to Tex for joining me for doing his videos from the other side of the world. Much appreciated.
Hmm.
And join us for part two where we're dishing out the rest of the combats on this list. And you can have a look at the final list of our top 15 combats for 2023. So, thanks for watching, guys. Look out for part two and peace out, guys.